Hey guys, I'm gonna do another ASMR. This is Sleeping with Bern, and I'm gonna go ahead and talk to you guys about another topic. I call this topic life lessons. So, we're gonna go ahead and talk about how certain actions in life can have certain consequences. And I think it's important to be aware of the consequences that have come of certain actions that we've taken, as well as be aware of what we can do in our future to avoid having those consequences. When we make certain decisions in life, we have to think about the long term and not just tomorrow. We have to think about how something we do now could impact us 10 years or 20 years from now, or even further on. There are many ways decisions impact us that we never even think about. For instance, if some of you guys are in school, if you're like middle schoolers or high schoolers, you might want to sit at home and play video games all day. Maybe you don't want to study very hard for your exams. And as a result of that, well, you're not going to get a very good grade. There are certain students who may just want to pass the class with a D and get out. And I know in high school I found it to be pretty easy to get a D because sometimes they'd give you like a check for effort. And of course, sometimes the professor would try to bump you up to a passing grade even if you just outright sucked, because the professor wants to look better to the administration. And on top of that, he probably doesn't want to deal with having you in his class another year. So, yeah, you could probably get bumped up to a D, maybe. But anyhow, if you are a D student, there are many consequences that come of that. For instance, maybe you want to get into a college prep school, and they see your 1.5 GPA, and the school wants like a 3.0 or at least a 2.5, they're probably going to reject you. They might not even call you for an interview. So, yeah, your bad grades because you chose to be lazy and not study. There are some ways that it will impact you. If you're in college and your GPA is not high enough, you won't get into medical school. If in high school your GPA is not high enough, you might not get to go to certain colleges or universities like Harvard. Also, sometimes when one bad event happens, it leads to many more. If you make a decision that causes a bad outcome, that can lead to more decisions, more outcomes. So a bad outcome can lead to many more. For instance, if you're in middle school and your grades weren't good enough to get into the college prep school, you couldn't go to the prep school, and because you couldn't go to the prep school, you were not able to get prepared for college. So when you got to college, you flunked out of college as well, and then at that point, instead of being able to go to medical school or law school and become a doctor or a lawyer, you ended up flipping burgers at McDonald's, or maybe worse. So that's not the life that most of you would want, and I've flipped burgers on the grill before, and why don't we just say it's not something I want to be doing for the rest of my life? And I would not wish that for most of you. You could do it in high school just to get a glimpse of what it's like and make a little money there. But yeah, if you're making the minimum wage in the US and you want to support your family, pay for an apartment, have kids, ooh, yeah, I can't say there's a lot to look forward to in that lifestyle. I would want to do better. But anyhow, there's a lot of decisions that have nasty outcomes. For instance, if you decide that you want to do something, For instance, if you grow a YouTube channel, it's pretty cool to be a YouTuber. I think if you can make a career out of YouTube, that's really awesome. I know people that have made 7-figure salaries off their YouTube channel, which is just incredible. I mean, there are very few jobs out there that'll pay you 7 figures. But be warned that there's a lot of fame that comes with being a YouTuber. And if you're a YouTuber, employers, other people in public will know you. I myself have been in public and they're like, "Hey, aren't you Bernhardt Games from YouTube?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Bernhardt Games." So, yeah. There's already people that know me, and if I had like 1 million subs, oh boy, there'd be people everywhere that knew exactly who I was. So I would have to be careful. And as well as that, well, there's also people that may want to hurt you if your YouTube channel is about something that they don't like. But I would be more worried about not being able to get hired for certain jobs, because if I did a dating channel or something like that, and if you choose to do like a dating channel or something like that, and then you want to apply to be a lawyer at some law firm, they might be like, "Hey, aren't you old Bilbo Baggins from YouTube?" And then, the other people in human resources are like, "Yeah, we can't hire them for a professional company like this." And that's pretty much the end of your job application. If you choose to ride a motorcycle, always wear a helmet. No exceptions. I know it might feel better to have the wind blowing in your face and through your hair without a helmet, and maybe it's uncomfortable on the head, but believe me, on a motorcycle you may be going 60 or 70 or 80 miles an hour, and if you're not wearing a helmet and it crashes, it's not like a car. You're going to go flying off the motorcycle, likely hitting a piece of concrete. And if you're not wearing a helmet, you will be dead. And if you're not dead, you're probably going to have a serious concussion that will impact you in some way for the rest of your life. So always wear a helmet, whether you're the driver or whether you're taking a ride with somebody else. If you're taking a ride with somebody else, wear the helmet. If they don't have a helmet for you, then don't take the ride. Believe me, I would rather you have to walk a few miles to get where you're going or call for somebody else than shortcut your way on a motorcycle and possibly lose the rest of your life. If you choose to be a porn star, like maybe some of you guys are young, like 20 years old, and you want to be a porn star, do porn. Maybe you think it sounds fun to get paid to do certain sex acts with different people. It may be fun now, but will it be fun when you're 40? When you're 40 and you want to work at a law firm or work as an aerospace engineer, apply to be a surgeon, and then they see that 20 years ago, 10 years ago, you did porn? Yeah. If people see that you're involved with porn, it's going to be very hard to get work. You might send out your resume and maybe you don't want to put it on there, but nowadays there's a lot of social media, and with the world getting smaller and smaller, word spreads fast, so just beware of the certain consequences for your actions. It's difficult to fix a bad reputation. Now, if you want to do porn as a career for all your life, maybe you could make good money that way, but there are some serious consequences that come with it. as well as porn, when it comes to sex, well, I know it feels better when you have sex without a condom. Yes, it feels better, it feels fresher, it feels more natural, it's more enjoyable, because I understand that trying to enjoy it with a condom can be kind of like trying to do chin-ups with cement running down your body. Or, something like that. But when it comes to STDs, HIVs, AIDS, it's all over the world. It's out there, and you just don't know who has it. So if you're not using protection when you have sex, and you get AIDS, that could be the end of your life. It will impact you if you're wanting to get certain careers, if you're wanting visas for certain countries, and it may result in you not living to be 30, so yeah, it could be really bad if you end up getting AIDS. That's serious. Typically, if you hook up with somebody on Tinder, or maybe you met them at a bar, always use a condom. Maybe if it's like your boyfriend or girlfriend, unprotected sex might be okay. Still not advised, but I mean, if you're like a serious couple, maybe unprotected is okay. I mean, that's based on your own judgment. I typically advise always use protection. But yeah, if it's somebody that you just met today, yeah, take precautions. And as well as that, there's a lot of other things. I'd say having sex without a condom is kind of like riding the motorcycle without a helmet, or jumping out of a plane without a parachute. If you jump out of a plane without a parachute, you know that there's going to be serious consequences. So just make sure you make the right decisions. Sometimes you have to look at the big picture. You have to look at how things will impact you throughout the rest of your life, and not just what you want right now in the moment. When it comes to a lot of stuff, there are some people that, like for instance, some of you guys, you might have a girlfriend that wants you to give up what you're doing to be with her, and that's fine, but there will be some consequences to it. Like, it could result in an outcome that you don't want. Also, I'm gonna talk about some life lessons I learned. Like, when I was young, like junior high-ish, I went to a Christian school for like less than a year. I didn't like it. And they had a super strict dress code. Like navy shirts or white collared shirts, khaki pants with a belt, and then they didn't allow tennis shoes. You had to wear dress shoes, which I hated beyond all reason. And they also required boys to have their hair above the collar and out of their eyes, and they had to have at least part of their ears showing. So I hated that rule. I liked my hair long, and I also liked being able to wear what I wanted. I got in trouble a couple of times for my hair being too long. And as well as that, it bothered me that I had to pray like 3 times a day. But it is a private Christian school, so if you go there, unfortunately, you gotta abide by their rules, and if you don't want to follow their rules or do things their way, then they're gonna suggest that you go someplace else, which may be the best advice. At the time, I didn't want to fit in. I didn't want to cut my hair. I didn't want to do all the praying. I didn't like going to chapel every week. Actually, on Thursdays, which was chapel day, they required guys wear an Oxford shirt with a tie. And I can understand that, like every now and again, once or twice a year, but every Thursday, That just seemed like a lot to me for them to ask you wear a tie every week. Yeah, I thought that seemed a bit much, but I'm not them. So, yeah. I didn't like it, and eventually, because I didn't want to fit in, I didn't want to conform to their standards, I eventually got myself, expelled from that school. And I regret everything that happened. It resulted in it being more difficult to get jobs, more difficult to go to college. Things still worked out for me in the end. I went to OSU and got a bachelor's of international business and have been working towards an MIS degree, so in the end things worked out. But yeah, I got expelled from Metro Christian and then went to Bigsby High School. Just a normal public school, so yeah, that was a little bit better for me. Better fit, I guess you could say, because they didn't have that awful haircut code. And I could dress pretty much however I wanted, which was a lot better. But, I missed out on some stuff. Also, let me think. What else have I regretted? I have to think things up because it can be tricky sometimes, and I have to think what I wish to share. Well, when I was going to college, when I first got my degree, I didn't really do anything with my degree. I went off to China, and I tried to teach abroad over there. In the end, it seemed like it wasn't really the thing for me, and what ended up happening was I came back home having taught for about a year, and back home my degree went stale, and I couldn't find work with my bachelor's degree. So I wish I had made better connections with people at my university. I wish I had gone to more job fairs, connected with certain employers, maybe seeing if I could build connections, because I was just too focused on going abroad that I just didn't really build the connections. And yeah, it impacted me. But, I still had a good experience overseas. And you guys probably know that traveling is one of my favorite things to do. Yes. When it comes to other lessons I think are important to learn in life, it's important that we understand who we are. I think it's highly important to be yourself. And when I say be yourself, I mean do something that fits your natural interests and character. But be yourself to the best of the abilities of your true self. Kind of like, if you're somebody who's just not interested in football, then don't engage in football and try to act like you're some big football fan when you're really not. Find something that you're genuinely interested in and make friends over that, because people can tell when you're fake. And when you're fake, people just don't want anything to do with you. It's like there's a saying, are you authentic? Are you a real person? And that's who people want to be with. So, yeah, be yourself. Be yourself to the best abilities of being yourself. Anyhow, I would like to say thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate the time you guys have taken. And I think I'm going to call this. And once again, thank you guys. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, give a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and stay tuned till next time. It was a pleasure sharing my speech with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful day. Bye.